Check this out. Kanye West pimping pain since 2002. It's all happening. October 23, 2002 became a defining day in the life of Kanye West. He was 2 weeks off of signing to Rockefeller Records, one starry night while leaving a studio session for Beanie Sigel, P.D. Crack, and the Black Eyed Peas. Ye was coming home late when he wrecked his car, crashing into an oncoming vehicle. Reportedly, Kanye West broke his jaw in 3 places. He needed reconstructive surgery. His mouth was wired shut. Then 2 weeks after that, he wrote and recorded Through the Wire, a breakthrough solo single that flipped Chaka Khan's classic into a triumphant anthem, turning a traumatic accident into masterful marketing. Now, this is back in the days when rappers used to brag about getting shot 9 times, so the cocky college dropout who worked at the Gap finally had a headline-worthy life or death situation to go along with his genre-pushing music, and he leaned into it. Through the Wire was the first single off the college dropout. The track would peak at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the music video opens with these words. Last October, Grammy-nominated producer Kanye West was in a near-fatal car accident. His jaw was fractured in 3 places. 2 weeks after, he recorded this song with his mouth still wired shut, so the world could feel his pain. Look, the pain that Kanye felt was real without question, and Ye marketed it. That moment became a part of his branding, much like another iconic moment in the life and times of Kanye West. Back in 2005, after Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, Kanye West went on TV and said, "George Bush doesn't care about black people." That quote was the viral moment, but check what he said right before. "I hate the way they portray us in the media. You see a black family, it says they're looting. You see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know it's been 5 days waiting for federal help because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about it, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can to help, with the way America is set up to help the poor and the black people and the less well-off as slow as possible. I mean, the Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of people that could be here are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us." Ye was nervous and shaky in that moment, but he's talking about pain. The pain of seeing mostly black people suffering in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The pain of knowing America helps the poor, the black people, the less well-off, as slow as possible. The pain of government giving people permission to shoot us down. I mean, this was a galvanizing moment for Black America at that time. We were all thinking these exact same things. The cocky college dropout, cocky Kanye West, just happened to be the one to actually say them. And in that moment, he positioned himself as a leader. In 2007, Kanye West tragically lost his mother. According to reports, Donda West passed away from complications of cosmetic surgery. Ye described Donda as his best friend and on numerous occasions has stated publicly that he feels she would be alive today if he never started his music career. He told Q Magazine in 2015, for example, "If I had never moved to LA, she'd be alive. I don't want to go far into it because it will bring me to tears." The loss of his mother was a major part of his 4th studio album, 808s and Heartbreak. The Coldest Winter was all about that devastating loss. In her honor, Kanye changed the name of his music foundation from the Kanye West Foundation to the Dr. Donda West Foundation. He later created an independent school in Simi Valley, California, named after her, the Donda Academy. He launched a creative content company called Donda, a sports brand called Donda Sports, and titled his 10th studio album Donda as well. The traumatic loss of his mother and best friend has played a major role in Kanye West, the person, and the brand over the past 15 years. It's immensely personal, as the loss of loved ones tends to be, but with Ye, it's also upfront in the marketing of various products and endeavors, as if, like he states in the opening of Through the Wire, he wants the world to feel his pain. That's what I see when I see Kanye West's antics in interviews over the years. A man screaming about pain. His infamous conversations with Zane Lowe and Sway, where he's talking about fashion brands and colors and patinas and I am a slave, I am a gangster, I am a nigga, and new slaves, and Sway doesn't have the answers, all sounds like a man screaming about the pain of marginalization from his perspective. We covered this in the Damage Control Breakdown. Check it out if you missed it. That was Yeezus era Ye, and even then, controversy spilled into his merchandising. The Yeezus tour came complete with Yeezus branded Confederate flag paraphernalia. In an interview with 97.1 AMP Radio, Kanye explained the decision by stating, "React how you want. Any energy you got is good energy. I represented slavery, my abstract take on what I know about it. I wrote New Slaves, so I took the Confederate flag and made it my flag. What are you gonna do?"
I like these new slaves.
That was 2013, years before he went on TMZ and said slavery was a choice, before he was palling around with Candace Owens, before he became Trump's most celebrated supporter and started donning Yeezy-designed MAGA hats. That was back before he began pushing black pain from the opposite side of the political aisle. I mean, he's been leaning into right-wing talking points for years, but this was a banner week, even by Kanye's standards. He broke out t-shirts inscribed with the words, "White Lives Matter" during his Yeezy Season 9 fashion show, then went on Tucker Carlson explaining why he decided to do so. His answer? Because they do. Pretty solid. And apparently his dad approved. He also showed up rocking a good old boy friendly faded dad hat, a grizzly unlined beard, and a lanyard with a picture of an ultrasound of an unborn baby. He said it represents life. I'm pro-life. I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God. That conversation with Tucker Carlson is compelling for a number of reasons, but especially because Kanye has become dangerously great at aligning black pain with right-wing talking points. The abortion conversation is framed through a black lens, but it falls right in line with an evangelical point of view, as well as the Great Replacement theory, i.e. America needs to get rid of immigration and Roe v. Wade because white people aren't having enough babies. He later gave an anecdote about how his dad is brilliant, but their relationship was strained because his mom took him away from his dad. Just like how he's always talking about how the Kardashians are keeping him from his kids. That tap dances right on the manhood narrative coming out of the right. Later, he praised Trump, said Jared and Josh Kushner were actually doing Trump dirty, then called out both parties for not feeling like they need to do anything specifically for black people. Then pivoted into a retelling of a conversation he had with Ice Cube about how there needs to be entirely black municipalities. Two solid points, but both of which feel like dog whistles for segregationists and anti-Semites. And in America where mass industry is marketing more directly to people of color and the LGBTQ community, from the NFL including slogans on its fields every week to NASCAR removing Confederate flags from its races, it can feel like nothing cool is targeted to white men anymore. It's not an odd occurrence that Breitbart has run 14 positive Kanye West stories in the past 3 days. It's not an accident that dude standing next to QAnon shaman during January 6th after breaching the Capitol is wearing Kanye kicks. Trump's 75 million strong voter base is looking for products to consume. Here comes Yeezy to the rescue. Yeezus. Ye also did something that I think is most telling. During the conversation, almost completely unprompted, he put out a quintessential Kanye call to action. He said, "The people that make money and the powers that be, I am your Nikola Tesla, and I'm not even a scientist." Now, this is relevant because in 2013, during his fiery interview with Zane Lowe, Ye was steadily comparing himself to Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, and saying he needed a Medici family to fund his brilliance. And it worked because later that year, Yeezy's partnership with Adidas was officially announced. And here we are, 9 years later, and that partnership has seemingly folded like Jordan Poole at basketball practice. In the past month, Ye has accused Adidas and Gap of both not meeting covenants of their contract. He said both companies had obligations to create Yeezy-branded brick-and-mortar stores and accused both companies of reneging. He also claimed both companies stole his ideas and implemented them on non-Yeezy products. He talked about all of this on CNBC, rocking a good old boy-friendly tattered dad hat, grizzly beard and futuristic version of those shades those dudes in that MAGA meme always seem to be wearing. He's even gone as far as to call out well-known Chinese businesswoman Jing Ulrich, who sits on the board of Adidas and JP Morgan. He posted to IG, "I went to JP Morgan, but of course they won't give me my deal flow because Jing Ulrich is on the board of both Adidas and JP Morgan. What shoe company will give me control? I need to be the head of the board and chief decision maker." The point is this: Kanye has publicly separated himself from Adidas and The Gap, so in that sense, his brand is back indie again, like it was in 2013 when he was screaming about fashion in an interview with Sway. Only this time he's dropping dog whistles on Tucker Carlson, galvanizing his Trump audience and sending the bat signal again to big money investors. I mean, think about this. If you had one chance to make a huge play, a major play that will set your family up for generations and allow you to create a multi-billion-dollar organization that's mentioned in the same vein as Gucci, Versace, Apple, and Disney, the only thing you gotta do is pimp black pain, which is something you've been doing your entire career, and potentially throw the community you're from under the bus again, only this time you may not get them back. What would you do? I don't have the answer to these questions.
Static Selector.
Another Saturday, another TBD. Thank you guys for rocking with me each week. I really appreciate it. I'm starting to see the pattern here with Kanye when it comes to these type of big controversial explosions. Literally, when I looked at this Tucker Carlson interview yesterday, this looked exactly to me like the Zane Lowe conversation from 2013, looked exactly like the Sway conversation in 2013, and he was all about trying to find funding. And during those times, people didn't know, he was really screaming at the board members of Adidas because they wondered whether or not they could control him. That was sort of the behind the scenes that was happening then. Well, they found out they can't. And so Kanye is back here again, back at the well looking for a new investment home. The points where he talked about homegirl who works who's on the board, Jing, who's on the board of Adidas and on the board of JP Morgan, well, that is the level of money Kanye needs, and right now he's being blocked. So we are still seeing the limitations of where he is and where he isn't financially, but also when it comes to making his own dreams come true. I think that him galvanizing this Trump audience, leaning into it heavily, of course, sure, I think maybe he probably believes that. But I think this is a great way to really show the buying power or the impact on audience that he has, the diversity of audience that he has. And since Kanye seems to go back to the well all the time, he never really suffers any consequences, so it might be a smart play, but what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Are you tired of Kanye altogether? Do you see this pattern that Kanye is always leaning into? Black pain, traumatic black pain, even his own. It's not like he's using it as a ploy, but to me, this is another reminder of how marketable black trauma really is. We see Will Smith, he's got a new movie coming out. People seem excited about it. This is what happens when you go back to being a slave. Also, gotta shout out the analysts, Echo Guzman, Temitayo Adutola, Joshua Smith, Arun Nilakanda. That's dope. I really like that. Can't wait to see Wakanda Part 2. Jeremy Borrego, Gareth Croakey, Nick Montgomery, Jonas Borey, James Gillespie, David Goggins, Andrew Blaubaum, Afolabi Martins, Brian Townsend, Brian Boyle, Chaco Kicks, my man Chaco Kicks, Jake LaMotta, Ethan McNew, the originator, Alexander Fonstall, Nicole Hewlett. Happy birthday, Nicole Hewlett. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for all the laughter, light, joy, and love you bring to my life. I always love talking about Kanye. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys see the patterns that I see? Am I reaching? Let me know. As always, my name is Justin Hunte. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.